Hello, everyone, and welcome. I want to welcome those of you who are joining us on campus and those of you who are joining us online. My name is Heather Torres, and I'm the Program Director for the Entertainment Business Master's Program here at Full Sail University. Today, we are in a session with Demo. It's very exciting. It's from Student to Creative Professional, Success Strategies with Demo. So please put your hands together for Demo. A little bit about Demo's background. Demo graduated from Full Sail University back in 2001.
I did.
From the Recording Arts degree program.
I did.
And then he landed an internship down in Miami at the Hit Factory.
I did that.
And from there, he impressed so many people that they started asking for him to work on things. So he's been working with some of the biggest names in the business: Madonna, Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, Lady Gaga, and I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to let him take it from here. So please welcome Demo, guys.
This feels nice being up here. Well, we started already outside, so I'm just going to continue. For those of you who missed the show earlier, the question was, what was something, in order for success to happen outside of here, what is it that you did in order to put yourself in that position? And I told him it was just clear. I was very clear on what I wanted to do. And some of you call that goals. I call that just results. I wanted to have a certain result in my life. And once I figured out what it was I wanted to do, I gave myself a timeline. I said, I'm going to do it in 10 years. 10 just sounded like a great number, so I decided, I'm going to do 10. So that's how I got to 10. Now, you could do 5, you could do 7, you could do 2. Just pick a number. Put whatever you think is best for that goal and shoot for it. Now, the third part was the tricky part, which is you got to figure out what it is you want to give up in order to do that. So, for instance, give me a goal you want.
Own a recording label.
Own a recording label. Okay. What kind of music?
Everything.
Everything.
But I want to start off with hip hop and then branch out and get good at one first.
Okay. Got you. Where?
I want to take it back to Virginia.
Back in Virginia. Okay. And when you graduate?
February 2018 or 2019.
I was like, February 2018. Shit.
2019.
Congratulations. Dope. So 2019. Okay. So when do you want to have this by?
I gave myself a 10-year goal.
Okay, so you said 10 years. Okay, so we're just going to follow down the line. So having this goal, and I told you, you're going to have this. What's your name?
Superman.
Superman, I'm Clark Kent. It's, you're going to have this, 100%. And you're going to do it probably in a little less than 10 years. However, there's a catch. You got to give something up. And I don't say like I'm going to give up, sugar, not shit, no. You got to give up something that's really, really, really a thing. Like, I'll give you an example. For me, I'm from Miami. How many of y'all from Miami? Yeah, 3 of us. Y'all messing up. No, I'm just kidding. But I grew up in that environment. And that environment is all club, party, have a great time. So it's a nice environment. So the thing I had to give up was going out, going partying, hanging out with my friends, doing shit that was really, some of the stuff was cool, man. Like, some of the stuff, I ain't gonna lie, especially like some New Year's. There was some dope parties, and you get the flyer, like, oh shit, man, I could go. I worked hard. You try talking yourself out of it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, huh? Talk yourself out of some things sometimes. Yeah, see, that's kind of what you got to get to. So that's what I had to do. I had to give up being social for a bit, and it was tough. I gave up also having any kind of relationships because I was like, fuck that, I want to get money. I'm like, get relationships. Figure that out later. But it was a problem, and it cost. Relationships with my family. I missed Christmases, Thanksgiving. A couple years later, my father passed away, so I never got the opportunity to share those things. So there's sacrifice that needs to happen. In order to have big gains, sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice. Now, it might not be that long to sacrifice. It might be for a minute. Doesn't matter. Still a sacrifice. Do you got something in mind? Do you got something?
Oh, yeah. I probably have to say I'd give up,
Talking to Mike.
I'd give up more entertainment style stuff that I watch on TV or go to and stuff like that.
Okay.
And focus more on my craft.
So watching TV and stuff?
Yeah.
How much TV do you watch? Just curiosity in the day.
Just depends. Like if I get a TV series that I want to watch, I try and binge watch it all the way.
Okay. How many you binge watch?
That's probably the next thing.
All right. So give me a rough idea in a week. How many hours? Just throw some out there.
Lately, I probably
Lately.
say maybe 2-3 hours a day.
So 2-3 hours a day. So that's 14 hours a week. So in a month's time, you pretty much got some time on your hands if you look at that. So something you can try, because I'm all about doing stuff that's practical. It's not about, here's this great shit, go do it. No, it's how can you do it and be practical in the way you live your life. For the next month, try that. Just cut it out. Now dedicate those hours to focusing on this particular dream. So spend, 5 hours researching, 5 hours making emails, contacts, whatever it may be. Be creative. But designate that, and at the end of the 30 days, see how much closer you are to it. I guarantee you'll be closer than where you are right now. Because that's what it is. You're sacrificing something, and you go and you do something else, there's going to be a reward. See, that's how life works. If you do something, something else is going to happen. See, if I go up to Diego right now and I kick his chair and shit, he's going to come get my, he said, I'm going to sue you. Student loans paid. But there's, got his ass. And he worked with Madonna. Oh, shit. Concepts for life. However, but it has I cause something that's going to have an effect. If you do something negative, you're more likely going to get negative effect. If I kick Diego, it's going to cost a pretty penny. Now, if it's something in the contrary where it's like, yo, Diego, what you want to do? Diego says, well, man, I'm in music production and really want to put myself in a position to get an internship when I get out of here. And I say, shit, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I know somebody, you speak 2 languages. Okay, I know somebody down there. Why don't you call him and see what can transpire for you? So I did some good for Diego, right? Now, that's going to come back to me. It's not necessarily going to come back to me from Diego. But if you keep doing that, and you keep trying to help other people, at the same time, it keeps coming back to you. The problem is, it's just the way things work. The problem with that is that a lot of times we just don't do shit. We sit around and we just keep thinking of the perfect plan. Who's been working on the perfect plan for what they're going to do when they graduate from here? I'm still working on the damn plan, and I graduated from here 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But the plan is never perfect. I'm going to get back to the little thing we were talking earlier. But the plan's never perfect because that's not the point of the plan. The point of the plan is to get going. That's what the goal is. Everybody's like, yo, the goal's going to be so great when I accomplish it. Like, man, that shit is not the point of the goal. Like, it's what you become in the process. To go and own this label is not really, but it's who you become in the process. Superman ends up becoming super Kryptonian at that point. You know what I'm saying? You're just a whole other dude at that point. So that's the point of it. I'd like to hear some more about some more worries, concerns, other things that y'all thinking about. Like, give me something that's real right now for some of you that are graduating in the next couple months. What's like a real concern? You got one? Go ahead. Give him a mic. What's like a real concern?
So,
say your name, say here.
My name is Shamel Johnson. I'm an RA student.
Let's give him a round of applause. Stand up. Stand up.
Pardon me.
Let me get up here.
So, I came to Full Sail as an artist, trying to figure out ways to network and put myself in position in the industry so that I could have more of a chance to break through. And my thing was I'm a Kanye my way in, where I'll use one thing, which would be mixing, until I'm finally in a place where you meet people, you make friends in the industry after doing good, and then you can do what you want to do. But now I'm 4 months away from graduating, and I have to make a choice, which is if you want to do the mixing all the way through and through, then that's what you need to do. Or do you want to go hard as an artist, which is a more humbling route, in my opinion, is very different. At least as a mixing engineer, you're of need more. It's different. So now I'm at a place just trying to figure out what am I going to do.
Mm-hmm. How many of you relate to some of the things he's saying? What are you going to do? Well, what are you going to do? I'm just curious. What you going to do? You got some quite decisions to make.
I do.
So let's go. Let's make some.
Okay.
So what you going to do first?
So first and foremost, I'm a man who believes in faith before anything.
Okay.
In God and in yourself. Mm-hmm. So with that, I have to make a decision whether are you going to pursue the mixing or pursue the artist route. As far as the artistry goes, right now I'm working on continuing to put out music every single week. Just keep going, being consistent. Because somebody's going to like what you're doing eventually. Like, people will keep seeing you like, what's he doing? And check you out. And then in
That
the
could happen.
meantime, I'm just trying to work, stay afloat, and that's really what I got right now.
Okay. So he has one thing he's looking at, and then he has something else. Most people think this is choice. This isn't choice when you have two options. This is dilemma, which is what you're catching. You notice I asked him, I said, well, what are you going to choose? And he said, well, he kind of skeeted off a little bit. And Darren's told me, he's like, nah, you ain't going to get me with the okie doke. I'm going to get you, though. Watch, I'm going to get you. Keep messing with me, you see. But that, you can, tell me a lot of you can't relate to that. When you think about the chatter that you have in your head, like, he knows he has to make a decision in order for him to get to what he wants to get to, but there's some issues there. The issues are, they frankly come down, you hear him. He says, I believe. They're built in his belief right now. He believes that these are the options that are best for him. And he might be right. I'm willing to bet that he's not 100% right, because I can tell he's just, you're probably cutting yourself a little short because you're thinking, this is what I can do. Listen, they're both music, mixing, being an artist, this and that, but what is it that you want to do, man? Like, that's what it comes down to. Do you want to mix records, or do you want to be an artist? I know some of you have the same thing. It might not be mix records and be artists, but do I want to be a director, or do I want to go work at a production house? Do I want to do gaming, or do I want to do design? Do I want to do this, or do I want to do that? Or do I want to be an entrepreneur, or do I want to go work for somebody? There's no wrong answer. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all the fucking coolest secret you're ever going to learn. It is impossible to fail at life. It's impossible. You got to actually try to fail. Like, it's designed for us to win. Now, some of you right now, you should see your faces. You're like, what is this dude smoking? Like, yeah. Hear me out, seriously. It's actually a lot of work not to be successful. And you probably hear it. You probably even heard it from other people around here, but you won't hear it from me. I'll be like, yo, it's hard out there. You got to get it. You got to grind. You got to put in the hours. That shit could be true. I did that in the beginning. I mean, I didn't have a life for the first 3 years outside of this dream I had. But I got to tell you, like, I've never not had work. I don't know what that's like. And it's not because I'm so great at what I do. And I'm not the only person like that. Now, I'm not telling you all this to impress you one bit. I'm really telling you to impress upon you that this is something that's achievable. But you want to know the difference is the people that are successful are making decisions. And you're not making one. And until you make a decision, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to be successful. And that goes for everybody here. Listen, you can dance around life like this all day, but eventually, you got to get in the game. And getting in the game is a decision. Yo, I'm going to go after this shit right now. What are you going to go after?
I want to be a computer animator.
Computer animator. For who?
Pixar.
Pixar. Good. Go home. Go big or go home. Shit. By when?
5 years.
5 years. Great. So, has his 3 steps down. The next step is you got to draw the plan, baby. Because if you don't plan, you're screwed. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. You got to have some kind of plan. You can't just go out there and say, I'm going to work for Pixar, and walk out and say, Pixar, come to me. You can meditate all you want on that. It ain't going to happen. Right? You could become the Buddha, and it ain't going to happen. Like, you got to put it in. But put it into what? See, if you have some kind of structure, you can make things happen. But not having a structure and just saying this is what it is pointless. That's daydreaming. That's not even going after dreams or goals. That's just daydreaming. You're just using your imagination. Fantastic. Great job. You passed that part of the course. But the real is you paint a picture of what it's like to have this label, to go and work at Pixar. And you see that. And you see it clear in your head. You start seeing what it feels like. How would you dress if you're there? How would you act? What's the manner? How you handle business? How do you approach people? The people that are around you, what's that like? Yo, you start painting a picture in your head. Y'all ever wonder why the hell you got imagination? You think that shit just popped into your head? It's there for a reason. You got to use that thing to create what it's supposed to be like. See, in order to be something, you first got to think about it. You want to be a label exec, you got to think of what's that like. You paint a picture of it. Man, you paint. Man, I'm telling you, sometimes y'all see me, I'll be there and I'll just. I had a dude say, like, Demo, sometimes you look like you're just thinking of long poetry. I'm not. It's just sometimes I get an idea and the first thing I do is I draw it. And I see it. And I'm like, wow. And then if I get excited, I start moving. I start doing action steps. And if it gets me really exciting, I do this part, which is the plan. So you draw a plan. Like, listen, this plan is going to be, I had a really long plan. And then at the 5-year mark of my plan was I was going to be at the Hit Factory. So I had 5 years of work at this studio and then work all these underground artists and then do this and go to networking events and all this shit that never happened. But, I got to like 5 pretty fast. So I started from there. And then I had another plan. The plan is just to keep you on course. So that when things come up, when you have an opportunity to go somewhere, you say, I'm working on my Pixar goal or on my label goal. Once you got the plan, this is going to sound really stupid. Some of y'all are doing this, some of y'all not. But writing things down is like magic. There's something that happens in the process neurologically when you write something down. I'm not into metaphysics of any sort of that, but there's something that actually happens neurologically, and it causes all sorts of magic to happen. That's where I'll leave it at. So just write it down. Write it down. If you need, I like doing big-ass boards, so I have the goal in the middle, and then I'll draw a really dope. Well, I think it's dope. My daughter thinks it sucks, but I think it's dope. I think it's like Picasso and shit. I put it up, my daughter's like, no. Shit is not hot, Dad. And then the last step to round this part off is you got to think about it. You got to think about it. If you want to go to Pixar, you got to think about it obsessively, so that when you're sitting around at this event, you're like, I want to work at Pixar. Yo, wait a minute, this dude was at Pixar. Let me go see him. Just constantly think about it. If you do that alone, those 6 steps, I didn't come up with that. That's actually written in the Bible of Success, which is a book called Think and Grow Rich. A guy named Napoleon Hill discovered that. I just found it to be practical, and I stumbled on it, and it worked really well for me. And I use it for everything. When I think of something, I'm like, this is what I want to do. And then I think about it, I draw a picture of it in my head, then I do those steps. And then every day, this is probably one of the most practical steps I'll give you. Every night before you go to sleep, just come up with 5 things that are practical to your goal. So if you want to work at Pixar, if every night before you go to sleep, you say, what's 5 things I can do? I'm going to find out who a contact is, billing agent, find out their address where they're at, where all their offices are, and find out the chain of command in the executive chain. That would be the 5 things you would do tomorrow. And then you'd go through it. He said, right now, don't worry, man, I'll repeat it. It's videotaped. But you do it, that's it, you just do these 5 things every day. And it's like, how do you eat a whale? You ever heard that? You never heard that? One bite at a time. It's an ancient Chinese proverb. The journey of 1,000 steps begins with 1. Just means just get to it. Just get to it. Get to it. But give me some more stuff. Y'all really sterile, man. This is not like a typical, okay, go ahead, give me. It's not a typical thing. I'm here to help y'all, so ask.
So my name is Mitchell Nelson. I'm an online student studying audio production. The past 15 years, I've established myself as a chef. So this to me right now is kind of a career change. I spent my whole life working on music. Started very young as a performer, and also getting into the process of mixing and mastering. My biggest thing right now is I've dealt with all the sacrifices the past 7, 8 years. I haven't made it to a single family holiday, anything. Almost lost my wife a couple years ago because we had issues. So luckily we got past all that, but right now I'm to the point where I'm spending more time because I'm still working these crazy hours, and I'm also going to school at the same time, trying to maintain where I'm at, trying to maintain my grades and maintain my focus, and go above and beyond where I'm supposed to be at. And it's difficult, especially being online. You're by yourself. You don't have everyone with the same mentality as you, so it's difficult to stay motivated. Yeah. I guess my biggest question is just do you have any advice for like career switch and just kind of try to maintain that positive energy when you are by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a career change. This is really more, I speak more than I actually make music. This is really what I've been doing for like the past 5 years. So I get it, what a career change is. Well, look, everybody here is in a career change. You're going to go from being a student to a professional. So you can kind of look at it as a career change in one way or another because it's a hat change. The best thing to do, I found, is if you can make a clean jump, right, where you can go from one career and automatically step into another one, that's the ideal scenario. It's not very likely unless you marry into it or you meet someone that you just hit it off well and they're like, yo, you're the perfect person for this position. What I found is it's like the 80-20 principle. So you start focusing about 20% into your new career, and then you gradually start doing this. But you want to get this where it's every step is sturdy. So it's not like you start a business from scratch, because when you start a business from scratch, a lot of times you just kind of just run the gauntlet. You know, you're just like, yo, you're just hustling, going, this is a little bit different. You got to be a little more nourishing with this. So it's like literally you take one step, plant, say, okay, how is this working? Is this doing well? Boom, because you want to make sure that the transition is just a transition, that you're not doing this, because this will pull you back, because this is where comfort is.
That's the issue that I deal with right now, mainly, especially because, like I said, I'm still doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, every day I go in, 6 o'clock in the morning, I leave. Sometimes after 2 o'clock at night, and I got to make time for homework and all that. So it's hard to separate yourself from that. I do as much as I can. I don't sleep a lot. Sorry, thank you.
Oh, welcome to the club.
Well, yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
It just makes it so difficult. But I mean, obviously, I'm going to keep doing it. It's something that I want more than anything. So it's like, it's just.
Yeah, but listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know your situation, and you're probably going to be like, hey, Demo's tripping. It is probably difficult, what you're doing. However, it's not. And it really comes down to how you're perceiving it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that little bit, I think, from a little bit of conversation we've had, is that would be enough to give you a shift. Because I think your thing is not necessarily motivation. It's just, you're just fucking like, why am I still fucking doing this?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
why?
Exactly.
You just got to be nicer to yourself, man. You just say, listen, it's not hard, it's not easy. I'm progressing. Every day you're getting closer to when you don't have to do that anymore. So just look at it from that standpoint, because this transition is a transition. Listen, it's going to be a transition when you leave here and you go get a job and you move on to the next part of your travel here. It's part of what it is. And it's going to be wobbly. It's going to be, sometimes it's going to be a mess. Sometimes along the way, you're going to do some shit that's going to be bad. Like, yo, I can't tell you how many times I thought I was fired. Like, where I did some shit and I was like, oh, fuck. Damn, they going to take, oh, shit. Damn, why I did that? You know, like, just mad. But you live through it, you know. My brother loves when I tell this story. When I first got my first gig, I always wanted to work with Timbaland. But I started with Missy. And it's been kind of well documented that me and Missy sometimes would be like cat and dogs, you know. But anyways, started working with Timbaland. I got the opportunity to start being around Timbaland. And then eventually, it worked out where I was able to get into a session with Timbaland. So it's like my first day in this session working with Timbaland. I'm like, yo, I finally made it. I'm like, I finally made it. It's like, finally, it doesn't matter if this music shit ends tomorrow, like, I've done it, to me. Just because I remember sitting there going, I want to work with Timbaland, and now here I am about to work in this session with Timbaland for Brandy's album, and the album was called Aphrodisiac. Here comes Timbaland's engineer. I'm the assistant, right? Here's his engineer, which is like the director, and I'm the AD. He walks into the room. Side note, this room, I had never worked in this room. It was the only digital room there, and I only worked in the analog rooms, because that room was always booked out. And then magically, boom, ooh, you in trouble. Magically, this room opens up, and we get into the session. So, yo, I'm stoked. I'm like, all right, cool. And the other assistant comes in. He's like, listen, peep this. He said, this is how they work. It's real easy. This is how this thing is set up. You don't got to do nothing at all. You have to touch these 2 buttons. So he painted the picture like I'm sitting here going, oh, I got this shit. Now, mind you, I, to that point, was over-prepared for every session I went into. For some magic reason, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes, like, smart people do really stupid things. I've been guilty of this. This was that case. Like, for some reason this day, I decided not to do any extra research. Like, I just Said, all right, cool. Yeah, I took what the assistant told me as this was what they were going to do, and I just, yeah, okay, that's good enough, and just, put my guard down. Mind you, to that point, I was like the dude at the Hit Factory. Like, I was like the golden child. This kid's amazing. Everybody says good things about him. So here I am, right? Bridges, my ego. I'm like, whew, come into that room. And Jimmy walks in. Now, mind you, here's the console. I'm over there. Jimmy walks into the room. He goes like this. And I'm trying to get him. He walks right to the console. He goes, yo, what's this? What's this? And he starts hitting buttons. Now, mind you, I'm doing this shit slow. But this was what's going on in my mind. Oh, fuck, Jimmy just hit that button. Oh, fuck, there's 2 buttons. All right, it's that one in the power. Boom. She's hitting the 3rd button. And then his hand started going like this. He started doing double time. I said, she hit the 6 and 7. I said, fuck, I can't remember none of this. And then at this point, it's just like, it looked like octopus hands were coming out of him. Like, he's hitting everything. And I'm sitting here, I'm going like, oh, shit. Like, just in pure panic. Because at this point, I'm like, this has gotten out of control. Then he just says, this is good, and walks out. It's like something out of a movie, right? And I'm sitting there looking at the console, and I'm like, yo, what'd he do? Like, I like that one button, but I'm scared to touch it because I know the one button in the sequence, and I'm trying to calculate, and I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous. Yo, the session goes on. We get in, and there's a new singer. This girl, she was like the hot singer at the time, and they're working, and I find out during the process, she starts saying all these little things like, yo, my headphones ain't working, like I can't hear myself. Somehow, to my recollection, I don't recall, at some point, I found this thing that her headphones was like in a whole other region of this console. Like it's buried under all these pages. How I found that, I don't know. Instead of saying something, I just start like following Jimmy, right? In a matter of maybe minutes, the session went from bad to worse. Like this girl has a complete freak out. She comes in, she starts cursing at this dude. Now this guy is like a legend. He's not gonna have some young hot shot cursing at her. But then to make matters worse, he catches me doing shit on the console. Yo, like I could see the daggers in his face. Yo, what the fuck are you doing? Who are you to touch? I'm like, yo, what's going on? The headphones, yo, he starts panicking. Everything starts going crazy. Gets out, goes to the receptionist, gets my boss on the phone. I'm like, oh shit. Yo, I never recovered. He called my boss that night 46 times. 46 times. Now, mind you, it got to the point where if something was wrong, he'd walk out and go to the reception area, and I'd call the receptionist, and I'd be like, yo, don't put him through the mailbox. He's like, he's right in front of me. Just put him to the voicemail. Like, fuck, this is so bad. Like, so bad. So bad. I was like, man, this is the shit, man. This is over. Like, I stayed at the studio because the session ended at 6. I was like, I might as well enjoy the last bit of my dream. Yo, I was living it up, man. I was sitting up in the console and stuff, just chilling back, like pretending I was Rick Rubin. I was like, this is it. I'm never going to be allowed back in here. So I would have done a whole photo shoot if back then the phones would have been dope. But I'm like, I thought it was over. Straight up, thought it was over. See the studio manager's car pulling, like, damn. Kissing the console. Oh, man, I love you, man. Shit, you know. And I start walking up to that man's office, and it's like, yo, I just got whooped. It just looks like just beat. Just like shoulders all bum. He's like, what happened? I start telling him the story. Here's the story. I'm like, man, I just got out of control. I just didn't know what to do. He's looking at me. He's like, man, but the headphones, like, you couldn't figure out the headphones, like. And I'm sitting here like, fuck the headphones, man. Like, if I would have just got the damn headphones, I could have got through all this. I'm thinking like, the damn headphones, man. The headphones, man, got me, man. Ain't this a bitch? They're going to edit all this out. They're going to edit all this out, but it's all good. So he sits there and he's just like, yo, you can imagine he wants you off the session. And I'm sitting here going like, yo, you know what it is? To have this dream, like the day before, you're like, yo, I got it. I did it. And then all of a sudden, it's like, nah, bruh. That dream is over. That dream is over. Let's see here, give me the 5-minute warning. I'm going to cut it short. But so anyways, he says, you know, they want you on the session. I said, all right. Then he said the magic word. He said, but. I said, there's a but? He said, but there's nobody else. He said, so we can't put nobody else in there. So you got to sit there. And I'm sitting there like, You gotta be kidding me. Like, they gonna give you another shot? Like, yo. Man, I gotta tell you, I went in like the next 2 hours, and I learned that console. I had the manual. I went in there and like, literally, I was teaching the tech by like 1 o'clock how to work the automation shit. He's like, yo, where the hell did you learn this shit? I'm like, read, dummy. Manual, dummy. But you can imagine, Jimmy came in, he was trying to hear that shit. By 2 o'clock, I was like the master of that board. Jimmy wasn't trying to pay attention to that. And it was like that for like a week, maybe like 10 days, where every time I tried to do something to help, he'd walk out and he'd go to another room and grab another assistant. Like, you know how insulting that is? I was like, this dude is no respect. Rightfully so, because I was an idiot at that point. However, there was that but. And see, that's what I mean. Like, listen, it's okay to fail. Like, you're going to have moments like that. And that moment was catastrophic. Like I told you, I thought the shit was over. I thought this was all for nothing. All this year going to school, this shit is a wrap. And then I didn't let that happen, man. And luckily I got another shot at it, because you always get another shot at it. And sure enough, I started paying attention and noticed that Jimmy didn't know how to work the computer. And leaving out of here, I knew the computer better than what he was using it. And sure enough, the day came where Jimmy fell asleep. He fell asleep, he was tired. He was old, I'm young, I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't wait. I was sitting there like this and shit, just waiting for him to go to sleep. I saw his head bob. I said, oh yeah, singing lullabies and shit. Like, go to sleep, Jimmy. I'm hungry, boy, I tell you. I was hungry. And sure enough, Jimmy fell asleep, and I got to record. And the dude I was recording, his name was Static. Static gave me this crazy arrangement for this song. Now, back then when Jimmy, how much time I got? 1 minute? All right, 2 minutes, I'll wrap it up. So when Jimmy used to, let's say, fly a chorus or like move a hook, they would break for like 45 minutes. Man, I could do that shit in like 2 minutes, 2 seconds, really. It didn't take that long. So he gave me this crazy arrangement to do with this song. Like, take this section, put it here, da-da-da. So I wrote notes while he was telling me that. I can't make this up. And this is for all y'all, because life is like a movie. And if you let it be that, you'll be the star of that movie. In this moment, man, I'm sitting there, and I could tell he's like one line away from finishing this song. And sure enough, I'm feeling good because I got the arrangement. I'm like, he can't get mad because he fell asleep. I'm kind of covering him. I'm like, I'm in a good area here. Or he could freak out and fire me again. So I was like, whatever, we'll figure it out. Anyways, I'm sitting there, and sure enough, he sings the last line, and in comes Timbaland, here comes Jimmy, here comes the entire entourage. Static walks in. Static goes, yo, can you do this, take this part, and da-da-da, da-da. So he starts going through the entire arrangement. And you could hear everybody in the room go, oh, man, we ain't gonna hear the song. Yeah, I went and like turned, I had like a little thing, so I turned the computer that just a little bit with my feet and shit. And then I had all the snapshots saved on the thing. And I'm telling you, even now I could see it in my eyes. I could see it in my mind's eye, their faces when I did it. Because I just like hit these buttons, but I made it all dramatic and shit like, yo. And I stuck it too. Play that. And I let that jump play, and you can hear them, woo, oh, shit. Yo, the song played, it stopped, I still imposed and shit. You know, like, they walk out. Like, yo, let's go to the club. This is over. And then Jimmy walks up. He's like, yo, how the hell did you do that? Like, oh, man, you know, I was like, man, you know, obviously, I'm sorry. Sorry for being stupid a couple days ago, but I'm smart now. And the moral of the story is 6 months later, he gave me that job. He literally sat me down and said, yo, I've been looking for somebody to train so I can go do something else. Now, mind you, when I was here, that wasn't even a thought. Like, yo, there's a guy there who has had this job for 15 years. Wasn't that? I was like, yo, I just want to work with Timbaland. I want to be Timbaland's dude. And then the other shit, like magic, happens. But you got to stick to it. And when the shit goes bad, let it. When shit goes bad, don't go with it. Don't go with it. Don't even get mad. When shit doesn't work out, just do like I just laugh, be like, ooh. Sometimes I make expensive mistakes. I'll be like, ooh, God. Never gonna do that again. But yo, just go out there and do you. And listen, at any given point, I'm accessible. If you go to Official Demo Casanova on Facebook, you hit me up, message you. There's a lot of you in here that communicate with me that way. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And you ever have questions, you need somebody to talk to, just look, man, I've been through it. You know, it might take me a bit to get back to everybody, but I'll get back to you at some point. And if you got questions, you know, that's what we're here for. So thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming today, and let's especially thank Demo. So thank you, Demo.
Yay.